talk about, we want to do this in our database. We want to change how we do that. I'm like, yeah, but you have to actually do it. You can't just talk about it. Oh, that's a good idea. We should do that. And, literally clients saying, we should do that. Who's going to? And that is that associations, even though they are small businesses, are much more complex businesses than most businesses. And so you could have a business that's a $100 million business versus a $1 million association. The association is actually more complicated than that $100 million business. A client I'm working with right now, their board is made up of small business people, and they all say, oh, wait, I can get a CRM for $300. And I'm like, yes, you can, but it does one thing. And
for one vertical.
Yeah, exactly. For one group. And your association does this many things for this many people and this many product lines. And it's just a different world. And so I always pity those associations where, if you have solo lawyers or solo doctors, they're always telling them, oh, we can do that for $1,000. It's like, I know, but you can't in this market.
The client has a vision that's off, and all the vendors, so he's shopping for the answer.
Yeah.
And so the answer, so he called me, he's like, I really just want your advice here. I'm like, okay. So then I talked to the vendors. They're like, we are banging our heads against the wall because we've told this person the answer is A, and every single vendor is giving the same response. And then the guy's like, I don't like what you just said, Wes. No, I'm going to ask Ben. And Ben's like, and nobody, these people don't know each other. So then I talked to 4 different vendors. I'm like, I see what's going on here. So that's what I get.
All right, stop.
Training.
So I think it's interesting. I was kind of smiling when we had training because Gretchen, I think it was you who had read long ago saying, or saw you speaking, that when it's time to cut the technology budget, where do you go first? So always go straight to training, because in everyone's mind, for some reason, they believe that the learners can learn on their own. They can be self-taught. We can figure this out, and it's just crazy. But and by the way, I don't think, from what I've read, this is not exclusive to association world. It's true in corporate world too. It's true everywhere. Training budget always gets cut first. Well, and it's probably a couple things. One is, truth is, a lot of training is garbage. It's just not good. And then the second thing is, it's hard to show, or can be difficult to show, tangible results.
And it looks easy. And software demos typically do look like this is going to be easy to do. So they think we can figure this out ourselves. It looks easy enough. Then you get the thing after it's implemented, and it's a whole new reality.
Yeah.
And that's
one, you forget, and so people don't want to go back and refresh because you think you should know, and you say, like, I'm an education professional, so I should know this. So there's that. If you don't have a training plan for people, it's going to be hard to follow. And so it's and then, like, if it's garbage, Wes, then you're not going to go back. And so I think that's one of the evaluation criteria we have with vendors is, you say you have training, show it to us. Like, there's launch training, and that is very, very separate than professional development ongoing. So most products have really good launch training, like HubSpot, Jake. Here's how you set up and you get started and off you go. But then I see a big drop off right there in quality and variety of, now you can make it better. And Salesforce has done a great job with that. Their learning management process is one of the best, because they do put you on a path on your trail and you earn badges along the way. They've done an excellent job.
One of my topics for a future newsletter that I keep thinking about and not writing about is that, and Gretchen, I want your feedback on this one. At least in my experience, over the last about 3 to 5 years, more associations have it's dawned on them that they are in sales and they need a sales process. And so, manage a sales funnel. And more of my clients, and again, I think this is a good development, that sales responsibility is being spread among more than one staff. So you got now multiple hands doing things. And you know where this is leading, which is now Ben, Wes, and Jake, and Gretchen are all selling, and we're stepping on each other's toes because we don't know what the other person's doing, because we all have our stuff just in our little Outlook or spreadsheet. And then they say, well, we can need to implement Salesforce or something like that, a CRM tool that will help us. And that's true. But so here's the gap. And so this is a training gap, and this is what the topic was on. The AMS providers that can provide this stuff they will not touch that piece. Meaning they'll say, here's the sales tool, here's the sales management tool. How do we use it? We don't do that. And I don't know why that is. Well, I have theories, of course, but I don't know why they're so afraid to actually help the associations build a sales management process.
Maybe because that talent is split just like the association, right? The people that are being asked to do it on the implementation side of the house have no context of sales experience, whereas maybe they could pull over a subject matter expert, someone that's been running the sales department at that software company for 15 years.
That's exactly what it is, Ben.
Right. They have it in-house, but it's not the people who are working on it. Like, they've never worked in a sales job. It scares them.
Yeah.
Like,
and, talking about quality of presentation, he did what a good trainer does, which is tell him what you're going to do it, and tell him what you did.
Yeah, he's outstanding.
Yeah, just a fantastic trainer. And now he's got a service that actually does training for associations, and it would be nice to see more of that in the market. Speaking of market holes,
you know what?
I quizzed AMS CEOs again several years ago now, and the question was, what's the number one thing your clients aren't doing that they should be doing? And every one of them said they don't know our product well enough.
Their staff, you mean?
Yeah, meaning the association doesn't know the AMS product. And it's to Jake's point, which is...
CEO said that, though?
Spin, Mabel, spin.
There it goes.
All right, stop.
Continuous improvement and investment. Very nice dovetail from our last topic.
Point, which is, if you've got more people, you can kind of spread the exhaustion, right? But if you've only got a handful of staff, they're exhausted by everything, and this is one more thing that's exhausting them. So yeah, I think, Jake, that's probably true. And then the flip side of that, of course, is my super successful small clients, it's because they have someone, or maybe even multiple someones on staff, who just live for this stuff. They're an evangelist, and they want to do this, and they always want to be on the cutting edge. That's unusual, but that's where you see, at least in my experience, that's where we see the most success. Someone just lives it.
But I've also seen small staff organizations have to buy more lightweight products, and so they have to go in with a smaller project because they just don't have the money or the bandwidth to do the more complex. So they are more resilient because their projects are shorter and tighter.
Totally.
So they can continuously improve because they bought a SaaS product that has a hard line on the edge, and you cannot extend. It is what it is. And so I think that protects them, where some larger organizations let these things get so big and complicated that trying to iterate and continuously improve after a few cycles it's very, very, very difficult.
Yeah, like everybody says they want agile, and then you get down to, when you really get down to scoping things out, it's like, this has turned into a waterfall project before we've even kicked off.
Right. Yeah.
I think I always I don't know if it's a great term because it sounds like you're a little kid, but it's guardrails. And the more guardrails you have, the easier, in one sense, the easier it is to operate, because you know where the end is, you know where the sides are, and you can't kind of go beyond that. It allows you to finish a project.
I've been in meetings with really big projects with really big budgets, and guardrails were established a long time ago, like miles back on the road, and they just put a plow on the front of their truck, and they're like, yeah, I don't care, but I'll pay for the damage, but I'm barreling through your guardrail. I don't care.
Yeah.
And they cut right through it, and it creates chaos, and you've got to like reset guardrails, make them higher next time.
Something Tobin Connolly has talked about forever is having vendor summits where you have your top vendors come together once a year, at least, and have the CEO of the association say, these are our goals. So everyone, I want you to hear this. AMS, LMS, CMS, those three products are so tightly integrated. And here's what we're trying to accomplish in the next 3 years. Let's kind of spitball this and see. And in a couple cases, we've seen where you would assume it would be the LMS vendor would take the lead, but it was actually the web vendor that's like, oh, we actually have a better tool than that, because it's not what you think it is. It's not the course catalog. It's actually the findability of it or the packaging of it. And so I think that's something that we've all recommended, that people just like they cut training budgets, they cut that time out of their planning cycle.
I'm ready.